We have our speaker now, who has written a fantastic book about Somaliland in Somali. Dr. Ali Duale is the author of the recently published book called Dimbishi Halganka iyo Kaadonki. Did I say it correctly? Ardeiza, February 20, 1982, which narrates the events that led to the well-known student uprising that took place in Hargeisa and Buro in 1982. So in this book, Dr. Duale details the overall oppression committed by the Siad Barre regime against the people of Somaliland. It's going to be very emotional, so get ready, and he's going to mix English and Somali, I think. You know, I think for also our guests, since they don't speak Somali, it would be nice to speak in English, especially in early 1980s. The core of this book is to exhibit the story of 20 youth, which was 18 of which were students. It's amazing, who were in 1984 harshly tortured and sentenced to death penalty. In 1988, he was given political asylum in the United States of America. He attended the City College of New York, and where he earned the degree of BEE and MEE and PhD in all electrical engineering. And he has wonderful children today. They are here, who you have seen. Although stand up here, the kids, please. His children are here, who have been very helpful. And Hodo has been helping us, and okay, she was the one who was being technically helped. Without Hodo today, we wouldn't be able to do what we are doing. Beside the above-mentioned book, Dr. Duale authorized dozens of technical articles and owns over 70 US and international patents. So he's not a joker. It's just not an author. He is special guest for us, and the books are in Somali language. And I think since we have the Republican chairperson today here, he should take some of the books today, you know, and, you know. So please, welcome, Duale.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Damon, and thanks for the SAG team for hosting this wonderful event. And thank you for attending and giving your time. I mean, it has been, I mean, I've never seen Somalis sitting that long for a conference or for anything. So I admire you. By the way, and thanks for Chinatown mentioning one key element in speeches like this, that I speak on my own words. I don't speak for anybody, no political party, no government, no company. The words are all my own. Today and yesterday we were celebrating May 18. It's nice, beautiful pictures all over the world, nice colors, people are enjoying and so on. But the question is, how do we get there? I mean, it's like we should reflect and ask ourselves, how did we wind up? I mean, what's 18 May, right? It's like, okay, independence, really? Okay. Then again, June 26 was another independence. But why 18 May is so different? And how do we get there? Before I say that one, I have to say that, and I want to make a prayer for those who really did sacrifices, who paid their lives, their wealth, their youth, their time, and all those for the cause of the event that we are celebrating now. Many of them are not with us now. They cannot do that, but again, we make prayer for them. And we're sending a message for everyone who is sitting here, who is sitting back home, who is sitting somewhere in the world, that May 18 did not come so lightly, right? It's not something that somebody actually dreamed about it. All of a sudden, yes, okay, it's a donation, right? So we have to understand that. So I want to talk a little bit about, of course, this book that, of course, most of you did see the copy of it sitting there. And I'm going to encourage that everybody buys it, and of course, buy not only one copy, but multiple copies and donate to their schools, to their children, friends, and so on. And anything that comes out of it is going to be donated to the causes of 18 May. So do your own, what you call, donation for the cause of the good cause. What the book's talking about, why we're talking about this book is so special. And again, I'm telling you that, yes, Damon mentioned that I did write many articles. I don't know how many of them, but a bunch of them. I don't know who reads them, but it's like technical things. So you read them in the conferences. But if I wrote anything good, it was this book. And I don't know if I'm going to write another one like it. Maybe not, most likely not. So why is it so special? If you ever go to Hargeisa, you would see, especially the Khairia area, you will see an airplane. And that people will explain to you what the airplane was. All right, so pictures like this in the book should be just like a symbol that actually we take to our homes. If we don't buy the book, probably create the stickers out of it. We should probably put them somewhere in our house. So we remember and say, who are these? As you can see, 20 pictures. I mean, 2 of them actually were missing because one of them, both of them actually, unfortunately, they died. I couldn't get their pictures. One eventually I got, but next version, hopefully it will come. So who are they? And you see their names written in different colors, right? Red, green, and black. And what does that mean? Think about the youth here. Think about you are 70 years old, 15 years old, and you engage with some political, you play with fire. You play with somebody who's so brutal, a dictator. Probably you hear like, the only dictator probably that you know now is like the North Korean dictator now, right? Think about somebody trying to play with that dictator and dare to stand up into that. What do you expect? So those young men, they suffer big time. They went through things that you cannot probably imagine. You hear people talking about we were tortured, and I'm not saying like recently. And you say, inside of me, I feel bad about it, but then again, I say like, not really enough as these people did go through. You see people who were tortured that they become paralyzed, right? People who were like tortured that up to the point where they probably saying things that they don't even know what they're saying, right? And yes, when they're saying, they are really admitting that things that would put them into death, okay, and that happened. The colors, I'm going to go back to the colors, the 7 pictures that you see in red, they were all sentenced to death. They were, at that time, probably the oldest. One of them was a businessman, but the rest were the students. The other 6, they were, I mean, you can imagine 12 graders at that time. 12 graders. And what they put in jail, yeah, that's when they actually got arrested. The ones that are put in black, meaning that they have a black listed in life. That means you will never see life again. Right? You go a big hole, I mean, like we call solitary environment, jail, whatever it is, life imprisonment. And those who were a little bit lucky, 4 of them, 5 of them, that were given like, yeah, at some point you'll see life, maybe, right? That was given sentences. So how did that happen? The book narrates and it starts with Somaliland pre-colonial, when we were all nomads. Nobody had. Now we see like talking about the borders and so on. There was such no borders. Everybody was like, we had sultans, what you call grads, isms, and so on. And everybody, okay, each tribe knew where they live, where their lifestyles go, and so on. And then colonials came in, they colonized, then they drew borders. And then people start fighting for independence. And yes, Somaliland was one of the first places where people took into the, what you call, armed struggle against the colonials. And finally, of course, they get their independence before any Somalia. Somalis were divided into 5, and Somaliland was the very first one that got their independence. And they were so passionate about independence. They couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to get all the 5 Somali regions to get into one and the great Somali government. So then the North Somalia became independent. Okay, let's get united unconditionally. Then before even it took too long, it was probably less than a year before the Somaliland realized they got into a marriage that's not going to work. And all of a sudden, the agreement, the unity was supposed to be go through referendum, and Somaliland refused because it was not going to be working. And to make the long story short, you see a lot of different struggles, the attempted coup and so on, expression in literatures, which are Somalis. You hear Mohamed, the Somalis are a land of poems, expressing the ideas in poems and so on. But finally, there was an interruption in that struggle because of this. Siad Barre came in, the regime, the dictator, military, that put everything, what you call, smash everything, all the democracy, little democracy that existed, all the hopes. And the book tells you what that, what you call, regime brought to the lives of Somalis, especially the Somalilanders. And that's one, every day was worse than yesterday. Think about it. Every day was worse than the yesterday. Up until the point where this event happened. And this event happened because another group called OFO, which was youth, a little bit older than this group, maybe in their 20s, just graduated from colleges. They said, let's do something good. Let's clean the hospital, let's work for the community services. And yes, they were put in jail because they pointed out some, what you call, negligence of the government. And at that time, February 20 was a turning point. Those OFO group were going through a trial headed by what you call Mohamed, but by the meaning the National Security Court, which was notoriously known to punish people for either to death, life imprisonment, or very long terms. That's nothing, right? Minimum, very long, but mostly when you hear Mohamed, you hear about you give your life, right? So that's what the whole community learned. Those groups, they faced torture. They were being tortured every day. So the stories coming in and so on. Back then there was no social media. There was no independent media, except maybe a little bit of BBC, which was could not cover everything that was going on. But I would actually commend, mashallah, you see the woman here leading. Little people actually underestimate the role of women in the struggle of the Somaliland reclaim of their independence. The women used to spread the words, and they used to call the gambadi, meaning the scarf that the scarf the woman wear. That's called gamba, right? So gambadi dumarka, that was the media. So anything that happened in any given day, by 11 or 12 o'clock, after the women go to the market, they will spread the word, and the whole city will know. So women would spread the word that yes, those youth were being tortured, everything like that, right? Torture and so. So the thing became like a soap boiling, where the students came into the court, and when they came to the court, the government find out the students, parents, children, and so on, covering what you call the court. they couldn't bring the offer group to the court because of the mass, what you call people, students and so on are there. So they try to disperse the students by force, and that's where things get out of hand. That's when students actually start the demonstrations for 3 days, and then after 3 days, every year, the anniversary of February 20 was happening. So the government asked themselves, like, how did that happen? How? Investigation. I knew that. Really? 1 minute. Anyway, so I'm gonna jump. I guess you got the idea. The students, okay, so they were brought, and these 20 people here in the that you see were brought, were arrested and tortured, and then they were brought. 20 students, 20 people. The court was going on for less than 20 minutes, 20 hours. Think about it. And the result was read the next day, 7 to death penalty, sentenced to death, 8 life imprisonment, 5 long-term prisons. Thanks to the people of actually the people of what you call the Somalilanders, and Mohamed mentioned about the airplane, Somali Airlines, and also the event that happened, and also the people community of Hargeisa. We were the death penalty was commuted into life imprisonment, except for one who was unfortunately has been executed. The rest, some of them were released, some of them waited until the SNM opened the jail. Oh, so anyway, put it all together. The idea here is like that. When I mention people, is I think people took it lightly. The struggle that people went through or what has happened. And unless people understand actually what the history of what happened, they can fall into the same fall bits, whether it becomes like reunification with Somalia or creating another dictator or putting the what you call the leadership into the wrong hands. So with that, since I was given like now it's probably negative minutes, I want to say please buy the book. Again, donation will go into the proceeding. The proceeding will go into this conference, and if you know friends and families back home, we will deliver to them. We can just give us their telephone numbers so we can actually send them in a day. So with that, I want to say thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
To the stage next, we have a very special poem that is going to be recited. And so I'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Mohamed Abdi. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to thank you all. I'm gonna read these points into Somali language, so maybe
I'll get the sense of it.
Okay. I want to speak Somali, so waxaan idiin sheegayaa gabaygan wuxuu ku salaysan yahay buuggan waxaa qoray Dr. Ali Yusuf Duale oo halkan fadhiya. Anigii Ali Yusuf waxaanu ka mid ahayn dhalinyadii dhagax tuurka ee kolay rag ka badan oo naga midi waxa ku arkaysaan sawiradooda buugga. Waa raggii hadda xusuusataan diyaaradii Cawil Cadami loo afduubay dilka lagu xukumay kuwii xabsi daayinka ahaa. Alxamdulillah anu kuma jirin qolada, laakiin waxaan ku jiray qoladii burca dhagaxa tuuraysay ee nabad sugidda lagu xidhay ee qudhadkayga meelo dooraan soo maray xarig. Marka gabaygaan idin tirinayaa. Ali baa wuxuu ii yeedhay markuu buugga qoray wuu yiri war Maxamed waxaan doonayaa bal inaad wixii dhacay ku soo koobto gabay yar oo kooban oo buugga lagu qoro. Marka Soomaalida waxay tiraahdaa meel aan doonayay buu meel aan rabay buu roob igu dacay. waxa dee qalbiga ku jira jeceshahay 2 saacadood bay ku qaadatay marka gabaygan tirinayo qof gaar ah uma jeedo dareenkaygu baan amiraya waxaan sheegayaa wixii dhacay ee ina soo maray iyo waxa maanta inaynu qabanay in la gudboon oo kooban oo waqti badan idinka qaadanay waxaan ka bilaabay buugaan cabiraya dambaal weeye buugani calow dhibica roobaade dayartuu dhigaal culus u noqon dhud iyo taariikhi wadku waaye dhaafiyo runtii waan ku dhaashaday dharaarihii qaraadhaa haddaan dhowr ka mid a sheego anoon hadalka dheerayn haddaan dhiibto arar gaaban aan ku soo dhowaaday akhriya dhaxalgal weeyaan bulshadeenna oo dhaqan markii dhugasho loo yeeshay dhakhtar iyo markii macallimiin dhebiga loo qoolay odayada markii loo dhurtay iyo dhaca tijaarteenna hablaheenna dhaladka ah markii dhaqasho loo diiday dhar xariir ah iyo maalintii suufka laga dhaarshay dhallinyaro iyo waayeel markii layna dhamannaanshay maalintii dhulkeennii la yidhi qiriqir soo dhooba aan dhimasho mooyee la rabin nolol dhammaanteenba sawtuu ilaahay ka dhigay dhinac kaloo guula iyadoo laynoogu talagalay inaan midhba inaga hadhin ayuu ilaahay xaggi kale inoogu rogay waxaan cabirayaa sidii markaa aanu dhagaxa u tuuraynay dhirifkii hargeysiyo markaan dhagaxa tuuraynay ee geeri waa loo dhashee galowgu dhiilaabay dhamacdii rasaas iyo markaan dhiraha jiidhaynay maalintii burcoo dhaarsanayd dhaabadaha qaaday wixii dhiig lahow kaca markii lagu dhawaaqayay dhimbiishii kifaaxiyo markay dhamacdu qiiqaabtay waa buugga magaciisa waatuu kacdoonkii dhacee la isku dhaarsadee dowladdii dhammayd maalintii laga dheg roonaaday maalintii raggii dhiiranaa faqashta dhaadheeyey dhagidaan xasuustaa wixii dhacay ducaaloowe dhammaad noqontay caliyow rajadii dhiigga loo huree urunkaa dhisnaa noo ahaa dhaawactira weyne waxaan dhafaysyada ka qodo qaaxa dhinaceeda aan dhowrta joognaba nafsigu talada noo dhiibiye maxaynu haddaba u baahanay intaasoo dhan markaynu soo marray ilaahayna taladii inoo dhiibay maanta maxaynu u baahannahay maanta waxaynu u baahannahay aynu dhowrsanno oo iyaan sidii dhaxal xoog sheegan inaan inaguna haddaba maanta dadka u xoog sheeganin dhexna aanu noqonno shacbiga iyaan la kala dheegin dheef iyo haddii ay dhib tahay dhiil ku wada maala ratigeenna dhaankaa dad iyo dhaawac ka ilaasha diintana baryaa laga dhamcaye dhuuxa ka islaama asalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu